We are against these sudden decisions that have no explanation. If you have a problem with Tunisia, treat it away from the women of Tunisia. Why are only Tunisian women banned from entering the UAE?
It's an unusual political spat. Last week, the United Arab Emirates banned Tunisian women, yes, just women, from flying or transiting through its territory. They cited security reasons, saying a terrorist threat was behind the decision. But rights groups called the measure discriminatory and racist. And in response, Tunisia banned all Emirates flights to and from Tunis, while the country's foreign minister is demanding a public apology. Well, to help make sense of all of this, I'm joined now from Tunis by Mohammed Dia Hamami. He's a research consultant and Tunisian affairs analyst. Thanks so much for joining us, Mohammed. Did the ban itself initially shock you?
Well, it was a shock for every Tunisian, I think, even though it's not the first time that the Emirates imposed a visa ban on Tunisians. But this time, the fact that it was limited to Tunisian female nationals only was not only shocking but also surprising, and it was not easy for everyone first to accept it and also to understand what are the motivations behind it.
Okay, so let's assume maybe they bungled this in a very dumb way. They messed up the policy or the way they communicated it. However, afterwards when they said, well, there are specific security threats and possible terrorist acts, were you inclined to maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, especially since about 3,000 Tunisians ended up joining Daesh over the past few years? Maybe they had some specific intel. Is that possible?
Well, first of all, let's be clear about this number that has been released by an American consultancy company that is working on security. So this number is only given by private sources, and recently in an interview with an Indian journal, the Tunisian Minister of Foreign Affairs denied this number, but it doesn't mean that there is no Tunisians who are going abroad. But let's be also clear that the way Emirates and authoritarian regimes define national security to use it in a political way is something that is common in the region. So I don't think that the risk that can be presented, if this is true, which is not necessarily valid, let's say that there is some information about the risk of a security problem. Is that really a reason to impose a ban on all Tunisian females who are not resident in the UAE? I don't think so. That would be very similar to the Muslim ban, for example, imposed by Trump in the United States. And also, why is it imposed on Tunisian females who are not resident, even if the information are only about
Right.
if they know only that would be Tunisian female? Why is it only on non-resident and not on resident? So there is a lot of contradictions in that, and like I told you, this is not the very first time
Understood.
that an Arab country in the region treat Tunisians in that way. Since 2011, many Tunisians had this kind of problems with countries that are afraid of Tunisians and afraid of mainly the political experience of Tunisia since the revolution.
Oh yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up, because the UAE was Ben Ali's biggest backer, or one of Ben Ali's biggest backers. Has it brought up those old pre-revolutionary wounds between the two countries?
Well, yes. So yes, the UAE was a strong ally to Ben Ali regime and to Ben Ali family. That's why a certain number of the members of the family went to the UAE when the revolution happened, and there was a lot of big projects that were planned at that time in Tunisia, like the project of Sama Dubai. That was it was a big infrastructure and real estate project that was planned. So they were affected by that. But it's not only about losing political allies. It is also about political position towards freedom and democracy in the region. So it's they are simply siding on the clan of Arab monarchies and authoritarian regimes who are afraid of that. So it was a reaction, a political reaction, and Similarly, it's impossible to analyze the current crisis from a purely technical perspective of like legal problems with the Emirates Airline Company. It's purely political, and historically, since 2011, all the whole foreign policy of the UAE toward Tunisia was based on the internal politics and the democracy experience in Tunisia. So
okay, let me ask you one final question then. So Tunisia's foreign minister, your foreign minister, says his UAE counterpart, Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, called him up, said sorry. Tell me why that's not enough for the Tunisian people.
Because it was, it's not only like a legal crisis. It's like it was a big attack to Tunisian dignity and national dignity and Tunisian women as like half of the Tunisian population. It's not only about matters that happen between diplomats. Like probably that's the way they are dealing with diplomatic crisis in authoritarian countries. But in a country like Tunisia, where there is a political move toward democracy, where the opinion of the masses matters in politics, also in foreign policy, it's important to make a public apology to the whole Tunisian population, and specifically to Tunisian women that were treated in such a bad way.
Okay, it's been great to talk to you. Mohammed Dia Hammami, I thank you very much for joining us here on the Newsmakers.